Hello and a very warm welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to tell you 10 things that do not affect or hurt your credit score. In the previous video, we talked about the things that you need to do to improve your credit score as fast as possible. Now, when you're trying to improve your credit score, it helps to know what actually hurts it and what does not. Because let's face it, your credit score does influence your ability to qualify for a loan or credit card, and it could make the difference as to whether you land a new job or not. And let's face it, credit scores can determine how much you'll pay in interest when you do qualify for any form of financing. And believe it or not, your credit score can even have an impact on how much you pay for insurance. And that's why you need to focus on the things that really help to boost your score and stop worrying about the things that have absolutely no impact. So let's get into the 10 things that do not hurt your credit score. The first one is checking your credit report. One of the most dangerous misconceptions when it comes to credit scoring is the idea that checking your own credit will somehow damage your credit score. It won't. In fact, you should be checking your credit reports as frequently as possible. On the other hand, your scores might be impacted when a lender pulls your credit as part of a loan application. This is known as a hard inquiry, while credit checks you initiate yourself as soft inquiries. So it's typically best to only apply for new credit when you actually need it. So, one of the myths that I have just busted is that checking your credit report is going to hurt, or rather checking your credit report is going to hurt your credit score. That's not true. Second myth is that paying off a credit card is going to hurt your credit score. There are a lot of credit myths surrounding credit cards and how these accounts may impact your score. Many people mistakenly think that paying off a credit card will lower their credit score. Now, this stems from a belief that you need to carry a balance in order to build your credit. Now, the opposite is actually true. While credit card debt does affect your credit score, a lower balance relative to your credit limit actually improves it. Yes, you heard me right. While your credit card debt does affect your credit score, a lower balance relative to your credit limit actually improves it. Let's look at the third misconception that people have, thinking that it's going to hurt their credit score, and that is rate shopping. You know that lenders checking your credit reports too can be bad for your credit. For example, when you apply for a mortgage. However, credit scoring models may not penalize you if you have multiple credit check pulls in a short period of time because you are shopping for the best rate on a loan. Now, currently, there are 3 categories that the credit scoring system will give special treatment to when you need to shop around to obtain credit. For example, credit in regards to mortgages, car loans, and student loans. Under these 3 categories, that is mortgages, car loans, and student loans, you are able to have your credit pulled as many times as necessary in a 45-day period, and it will only count against your score as one hard credit pull. The third thing that does not hurt your credit score is a slightly late payment. A slightly late payment. Now, have you ever missed a due date on a loan or credit card by just a few days and worried that the mistake would hurt your credit score? You're in luck. Now, while I recommend paying your credit card bill on time and in full to avoid interest, depending on your current financial situation, that may be difficult because let's face it, life happens. Okay? Now, if you have a missed payments, I would encourage you, you can call the credit card company every month to waive the late fee. But since the payment, if the payment was less than 30 days late, then it should not negatively impact your credit score. Yeah, as long as your payment is in before 30 days from your due date, your late payment won't be reported to the credit bureaus. Okay, so as long as your payment is in before 30 days from your due date, your late payment won't be reported to the credit bureaus. So do not worry if you miss your payment by just a few days. As long as it's in before 30 days from your due date, then it won't be reported to the credit bureaus. Now, the next thing that will not hurt your credit score is tax liens. Tax liens. Now, once upon a time, tax liens had the potential to inflict a lot of damage to credit scores. However, that's no longer the case. Now, tax liens are no longer part of your credit report, whether paid or unpaid. They were removed from credit reports in April 2018. So you don't have to worry about that at all, okay? Tax liens are no longer part of your credit report, whether paid or unpaid. The next thing that won't affect or hurt your credit score is judgments. What do I mean? Now, judgments are another type of public record which can no longer hurt your credit scores. In 2017, the credit bureaus also eliminated civil judgment records from credit reports. The reason the credit bureaus agreed to remove tax liens and civil judgment records from consumer credit reports is that the information was prone to mistakes and errors. Social security numbers or dates of birth were often missing from public records, and as a result, the records were often linked to the wrong people, causing issues on credit reports. The next thing that won't hurt your credit score is your debt. Yes, you heard me right, debt. Now, this one is tricky. However, having too much debt can certainly be a problem financially. Having the wrong kind of debt, like an overutilized credit card account, for example, could be bad for your credit score. However, the idea that all debt is bad for your credit score is incorrect. Not all debt is bad for your credit score. Having student loans or a mortgage and regularly paying those loans on time can actually help contribute to your credit history. Similarly, having a credit card that you use at least occasionally and responsibly can actually be better for your credit score than not having a card in the first place. So, having student loans or a mortgage, as long as you're paying that on time, can actually help contribute to your credit history. And similarly, having a credit card that you use at least occasionally and responsibly can actually be be better for your credit score than not having a card in the first place. Now, the next thing that does not hurt your credit score is your employment credit checks. Now, this is another credit check that won't impact your score at all. Credit scoring systems like FICO and Vantage Score will ignore employment credit checks entirely. Now, this is good news because more and more often employers are running credit checks on prospective employees. While an employer credit check will show up on your credit report, it will not have any impact on your credit score. Now, the next thing that will not hurt your credit score is too many accounts. It's true that you shouldn't apply for new credit cards or loans frequently. However, there is no such thing as too many accounts when it comes to your credit score. One mistaken belief many people have is that having too many accounts can hurt their credit score. And the truth is, as long as your old accounts are in good standing, you should definitely keep them open. As long as your old accounts are in good standing, you should definitely keep them open. Now, the last thing that will not hurt your credit score, that is the 10th myth, is how much money you earn. Now, you'd be surprised at how many people believe that how much money they earn affects their credit score. The truth is that should be about nearly, let's face it, about 25%. Now, while it's true that your credit reports likely contain information about your present and your past employers, they never include your salary information. I repeat, while it's true that your credit reports likely contain information about your present and your past employers, they never include your salary information. Credit scores, after all, are based on the information found on your 3 credit reports from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So the truth is, how much money you earn does not impact your credit score, because credit reports should contain, yes, they do contain information about your present and your past employers, but they never ever include your salary information. So credit scores are based on the information that is found on your 3 credit reports, either from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Okay, so there you go. Those are the 10 things that do not hurt your credit score in any shape or form, despite the fact that a lot of people have that misconception that all these 10 things will hurt your credit score in one way or another. Now, if you found this video content helpful, if the video has kind of shed some light in regards to your credit score, then kindly give the video a thumbs up, and do not forget to share the video with anybody else